When I look back on my life, I used to act like the victim. I had a glass half empty mindset. I had this negative view of the entire world and just thought as if everything was working against me. I was always complaining, worrying about things that could go wrong, and just being mad at the world for, quite honestly, no good reason. But then one day, everything just kind of shifted. I was probably 18 or 19 years old, and I was going off-roading with my buddies. He was driving his Jeep, and I was driving my family member's Jeep, which I'm super grateful for the fact that they let me borrow their Jeep. So my buddy had 4 of our friends in his Jeep, and I had 4 of my other friends in the Jeep I was in. We're driving along the trails, just having a fun time, and then all of a sudden, I hear this pop. It turns out one of the tires in the Jeep that I was driving just completely popped. This massive gash in the bottom. I must have hit a rock or a nail or something, and yeah, it really sucked. So I'm standing there, looking at the tire, just thinking, damn, of course this would happen to me. Meanwhile, it's like 95 degrees outside. The air is very humid. There's bugs everywhere. And I'm standing in about 8 inches deep of mud. So I'm standing there like, damn, like, of course this would happen to me. You know, the world's always out to get me. Things just never go my way. But then my buddy just starts laughing. He just starts laughing out of nowhere. And then everybody else starts laughing. And I'm like, what are you guys laughing at? We're in this 8 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches deep of mud. It's super hot. I get a flat tire. This sucks. And they just bust out laughing. And then I started laughing because I'm like, well, all right, just let me laugh too. We all simply embraced the moment for what it is and accepted the fact that we weren't meant to go driving off-road that night. No matter how beautiful of a night it was, no matter how long it took us to plan this night, it wasn't meant to be. And that was a big moment of realization for me, because I realized that, yeah, it really sucks the fact that that happened, but we were all together. We had good music. It was the middle of summer. We just graduated high school, and we're just going to make the most out of it. And when I look back on that night, nearly 10 years ago now, I realized that there were 2 core mental models that we all unconsciously seem to adopt that very night. The first one is that it's better to just accept things for how they are rather than being reactive. This is the whole stoic idea of Amor Fati, of accepting your fate, of just embracing the present moment for whatever it is. And the second mental model or mindset that we all seem to unconsciously accept that day was just assuming that everything will work out. As I've talked about in some previous videos, at that time I was a very anxious person. I was always reactive and getting all worked up about things that were happening all around me. But my best friend at the time, who was driving the other Jeep, he was a very cool, calm, and collected guy. He was always go with the flow, things are just going to work out. And that was the mindset that he had, was that everything will work out. And that's exactly what happened. We laughed. He reassured all of us, like, all right, we get the tools, we get the jack stand, we're going to make it work, and we're going to have a fun time for the rest of the night. It's exactly what we did. He just assumed that no matter what chaos was thrown at us, we were going to be okay. And these 2 mental models, accepting reality and assuming everything will work out, they go hand in hand. They work in tandem. And when you can develop this for yourself, you create this mental clarity that's so strong that reality really can't mess with you. As strange as that may sound, there are so many twists and turns and unexpected events that happen all the time within life. That's just how things are. But when you accept the fact that these things are bound to happen and just know within your mind that everything will work out, then everything just tends to work out exactly how you want it to. It might not always be on that timeline that you want it to work out in, but when you zoom out and you reflect back on that situation you were in, you realize, yeah, everything's fine. When you have these 2 mental models paired together, I like to think of them as a mix of stoicism with unshakable psychopathic confidence. And this is because no matter what the circumstance is, you're calm, you're poised, you have that inner strength knowing that no matter what curveball reality throws at you, things will work out. I know it sounds so cliche, but actually embodying this within your life is more difficult than it may seem, because the logical part of your brain might be thinking, okay, well, if unexpected things happen all the time, and if many things are out of my control, then how can I be so confident that things will work out? And that's where you gotta trust your gut. You gotta follow your intuition, because not all things in this reality are meant to be understood logically. Sometimes you're in a situation and it doesn't look good. Your options are looking very grim. However, if internally you believe things will be okay, then more than likely you will find a way to make them okay. That's just how it goes. And to me, this mindset sets you apart so far from other people, because we're living in times where the world essentially runs on your distraction and your emotional reactivity. Some people will call you crazy and delusional, and that's fine. They can stay stuck. They can stay in that emotional reactivity state of mind. To me, why wouldn't you embrace this mindset within your own life? Why wouldn't you stoically embrace reality for what it is, and then just assume that things will work out in your favor so long as you take action? To me, that's a cheat code. It's not even really a cheat code. It's available for anybody to do. Emotional reactivity paired with the deeply ingrained negativity bias keeps you stuck in the same patterns, keeps you stuck thinking the same thoughts and doing the same things over and over and over. This is something that I faced firsthand for many years, up until that very moment right there with my friends. So if you find yourself getting overly emotional and worked up about things that are happening all around you, then lean into these mental models, all right? Just embrace reality for what it is, the highs and the lows, and assume that everything will work out so long as you keep a level head and do what you gotta do. Because ultimately, everything will work out. But if you go about life living with this negative mindset, this glass half empty mindset, or thinking that reality is out to get you, then your brain will find ways to validate those negative thought patterns, all right? So, yeah, I hope this makes sense. Hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you soon.